Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unplugged Woodworking's podcast. So, what have I been up to? I haven't been doing what I want to do for various reasons. Just recently, actually, the last couple of days, I've been up to my brother's house, and I've just put some new benches on for him, kitchen benches, that is. Put a new carcass in for him, a new oven, and a hob, and done a little bit tiling. He has been helping and whatnot, but it was a good refresher of kind of why like traditional woodworking tools don't work well with new materials. So me being me, obviously I don't use power tools. I still do the odd few which I don't use. Sometimes I use my drill, my cordless drill sometimes. So anything like that I am doing, anything that's kind of got laminate on it, it's like chipboard or MDF, anything like that. I do actually tend to go to, somewhere like Wix's or B&Q and actually purchase just a disposable Western style saw for the fact that it normally just mashes the teeth up. The material just really blunts the saws. So I actually forgot to buy a saw, so I had my Ryobi saw. I've never used my Ryobi saws for anything like that. So rather than leave the house and go down and pick up a saw and come back, I just decided to use my Ryobi saw. Obviously, these are disposable blades, so I can actually just replace the blade, which I'm going to have to. So yeah, it was a reminder, that these materials just absolutely destroy, the sharpness of the saw teeth. So it started off actually quite well. So I was able to cut the first bench because it was actually two benches. There was like the kitchen bench arrangement is like an L shape. So I was able to cut the two benches to size. Obviously, cut out the first hole, which was for the sink, and on the second bench I managed to cut out the hole for the hobs. But I did notice when I was cutting out the hole for the hob, it's just one big square. I forget what it is. I think it was somewhere in the region of was it like 800ish? I'm guessing maybe. No, that might be a bit too big. Maybe 600 squared, something like that. I can't really remember what the size of it was. But by the time I got to that, the chipboard and the laminate had pretty much, blunt the living daylights out of me Ryobi saw. So it's kind of it is a reminder why like the modern day DIYer or whatever, if someone who does stuff like that, they do actually use power tools and whatnot. Another thing as well, when I was actually putting the carcass in for the oven, to house the oven, so the oven units, if you will, how flimsy it was. I kind of remember like looking at it and like, because I moved it in and out a couple of times of its its final place, and I remember thinking to myself, Jesus, it's like if I was to build this myself, it would be solid. It wouldn't be moving around anywhere. The fixings were just, they just weren't doing the job. I mean, I know that it is actually, being fixed to the wall, which it did. It got fixed to the wall, and then it got fixed to the two adjoining units either side of it. It is solid, but just like kind of yeah, it's like I'm not really a fan of things like that. I don't like the materials they use. The likes of IKEA and stuff. I don't like the materials they use, and I don't like the fixings that they use. It's another testament of kind of when you do actually buy furniture, or rather when you make furniture, especially if you're going to be doing something like the likes of like a dovetail chest, something like that, which I have actually got a couple in the house. And I know that dovetail chest, the one that's it's about 2 foot away from us at the moment. I know that that's going to be still here after I'm long gone. It's absolutely solid. It weighs a ton weight. I think you could literally drive a car over it, and I think that it would damage the car before it damaged the chest. Yeah, but it's absolutely solid. That's brown oak, and it's as I said, it's going to outsee me. Where you couldn't really say the same for like an IKEA. I'm not having a go at IKEA. I'm just saying it's not just IKEA that do it. I think it's pretty much the bog standard of like furniture this day and age, unfortunately. But yeah, it is just a testament to kind of if you're going to get a piece of furniture, or you're going to let me rephrase that. If you want a piece of furniture, you're looking to get a piece of furniture, and if you're able to make that piece of furniture, I say make the piece of furniture, even if it takes you like a long time to do it, and even if your skills aren't like 100%, I still say make it, because 9 out of 10 the furniture that you make will probably outside the IKEA one anyway. Or should I say a flat pack one, because it sounds like I'm having a go at IKEA, but as I've just said, it's not just IKEA that do it. So what impressed me, so I think this was maybe last week, or it may have been maybe 2 weeks ago, I did actually see a kind of a little rotary tool kind of bench thing. So this was just like a really small kind of multi-bench, if you will, for a rotary tool, something like a Dremel. And it was like a 3-in-1. It actually was a mini drill press. It was a mini router table, and it was a lathe as well. So it was pretty cool, actually, if I'm honest. I think I've actually still got a rotary tool, a Dremel, somewhere. I haven't seen it for many years, but I do believe I have one somewhere. That might be still around at my mother's house, maybe, in my old shed, maybe. But for those of you that have got a rotary tool, it might be something you might want to have a look at. So as always, I'll leave a link in the description for that. So today I'm going to talk about furniture, kind of what to make, and this kind of relates to an email I got. I got an email from a guy in Germany. For the life of us, I can't remember his name. I should have wrote his name down, but in pure David style, I haven't done that. I'm guessing what's his name called. I think it's Bjorn Borge, something like that. I do apologise if you're listening. I should have really wrote your name down. But he was basically saying that, kind of, he sent over a couple of pictures, actually. Just built himself a room and workbench, which is quite cool. I love to see when people build room and workbenches. I have actually received quite a few messages and emails, when people have built like room and workbenches, they've sent them over to us, and it's pretty cool to see what people are doing with them. So if you have built one, or you are building one, and you haven't sent us a picture, by all means do send us a picture over. I'd really like to have a look. I'm a bit of a geek with things like that, so send it over. So his email continued, and he was basically asking for tips. He was kind of saying, what should I do to, kind of develop my skills and whatnot. And he was like, I shouldn't really start with dovetails, right? And kind of the answer I give him was that he should go out and he should get a copy of the Anarchist's Design book by Chris Schwartz. Anyone that hasn't read it, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or even advanced, I would recommend it. I think it's a really good read. I'm guessing that there's a lot of people who do hand tool woodworking have probably heard about it, most likely have read parts of it or all of it, or most likely own it like myself. It is a very good book, so I would recommend getting it. There is other books that he has published. He's published quite a lot. I'm not a fan of all of his books, but I will say the Anarchist Design book, it's 100% spot on. I really like the whole thing. I always refer back to it. Sometimes I like to look at the pictures and whatnot. Just to get some creative ideas. Really, really good. So if you're able to, and you haven't already, get a copy of it. I do actually like the ethos of the book. I don't know if it was the first place that I kind of heard it, but I'm pretty sure in the book it basically, I think Chris says he believes that you should be able to build all the furniture in your house, and I totally agree with that. And I have basically built all the furniture in my house. There's still pieces for me to do. But I do believe people should do it. It's there's numerous reasons why, but that was kind of the advice that I gave as well. I told them to maybe have a look around the house to see what furniture he needs or what furniture he would like, and kind of start there. And I think that's a really good place to start, for anyone. I mean, sometimes, and I'm sure people will be able to relate to this, especially woodworkers that are doing this full time for a living. It's like a lot of the time you never get time to yourself to actually build furniture for yourself. I've brought this up, quite a few times that I've been living, I bought this house, I think it's like 3-4 years, is it 3 year ago? Yeah, I think it was like 3 year ago, and I still haven't got a dining table. And it's just because I've never got the time, and that was one of the reasons that I've actually stopped building furniture for other people. I don't know if that's going to be like a full-time stoppage of furniture, but there's so much that I want to do myself, and I have this year I have had to get things out of the way that I've had to do, that I have promised people I would do things, so they're pretty much out of the way now. So moving forward, it should be pretty much full steam ahead with projects that I want to get out. So going back to my advice was, have a look around your house and see what you want to see what you want to do, or see what you need to do. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you're a beginner or whether you are an intermediate or whether you're advanced. Because this gives you a whole host of things. Like, for the likes of myself, it actually gives me a chance to experiment. So I'm able to experiment with different designs. I'm able to experiment with different joinery, which is pretty cool. I mean, the last little thing I'd done was a little drawer for a blanket chest. that I actually keep t-shirts in. I keep t-shirts and shorts in. And I was actually just tying me socks in there as well. So, I don't tend to wear those big, the socks that come like long socks, if you will, that come past your ankle. I normally just wear, I think, is it sports socks or ankle socks? I normally tend to wear them. So when you put a pair together and you turn them inside out like into a ball, it's so easy to get lost amongst all the t-shirts. So obviously I needed to make a drawer, and I was able to experiment with some Japanese style dovetails, which I wanted to do, hopefully in preparation for a kitchen island that I've been saying that I'm going to do for the last 6-7 months, something like that. But yeah, I will get around to it. It'd be pretty cool when I do. But as I said, when you are doing things for yourself, you get to run free or get to run riot, as I like to say. And what I will say to people, like kind of, well, are you a beginner or well, are you're advanced, whatever. If it doesn't come out how you wanted it to come out, or it doesn't come out, what you thought it would come out like, ask yourself, is it practical? Is it doing the job that I wanted it to do? And if it is, who cares? Who cares what it looks like? Especially for the beginners, I'll say that. Who cares what it looks like? As long as it's practical. I mean, if you were to come into my house and you'd have a look round at all the furniture, some of you would be able to spot what I can see on a daily basis, and some of you wouldn't, and some of you think the furniture's terrific, and some of you wouldn't think the furniture's terrific because you'd be able to see what I can see, and I can see mistakes. It's like this. It's like the first Welsh stick chair I ever made. One of the legs is like way out of angle, when I can see it. Some people will be able to see it and some people wouldn't be able to see it, but I see it every day. But I don't mind. It's functional. The chair, you can sit in the chair. It's not a big deal. So that's what I would say to to anyone basically. It's not really a big deal. I mean, there might be some of you there that are like kind of moving from kind of beginner to intermediate sort of thing, and you might want to start messing around with dovetails. I mean, even the guy that sent us an email, he kind of said, I shouldn't really be starting at dovetails, to hone me skills and stuff. I mean, I did say to him, I says, it's probably not the best place to start, somewhere around that region. I think I said something like that to him. But I mean, in all fairness, if he can live with gappy dovetails and I don't know, maybe if he's making, a chest, maybe it'll be okay. I mean, because dovetails are very forgiving, structural wise. Even if they are a bit gappy, it can actually be quite strong. Now, I'm not promoting gappy dovetails, because when I cut a dovetail, I do like to get it to a fit where I have to use a mallet. I'm not talking about bringing the living daylights out of it, but I am talking about having to use a mallet with a little bit of force to get the joint together. Yeah, that's what I look for when I cut dovetails. So, as I said, I'm not promoting gappy dovetails, but if you are just starting out, you are just starting to cut dovetails, as long as it's going together and it's structurally strong, the dovetails mightn't look the prettiest, but if you can live with that, it's like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? You might have that for the rest of your days, and you might keep that around, as a reminder of where you started, and who knows, in a couple of years' time, you're gonna be cutting dovetails like a pro, So it's like you've got to kind of weigh it up that way. I mean, that's one of the good things when you are making things for yourself, because even me sometimes, if I want to build something, and I have done it in the past, if I want to build something and I want to build it quickly, there's different constructions you can use. If you are kind of making, some sort of a chest, you can nail the thing together. I mean, that's the thing what I like about the Yannick's design book, because, it does show you how to do things like that, and that might be better for someone who is beginning. But at the same time, the likes of myself, I have used techniques in there, because sometimes they're quicker. So to make a chest, it is actually going to be quicker to nail the thing together rather than it cuts, like it does in dovetails it does in dovetails on each corner. So, there kind of is that thing. I think another thing as well that I have come across, with a few people, is some things seem like really, really daunting. Like, to make a chest, or to make a chair, or to make like even a little coffee table. Like for some people, it's really like a daunting task, and some people kind of need to be like kind of nurtured towards it. So what I would say for people that are kind of like that, if you're a beginner and you're kind of, a little bit, it seems a bit daunting for you to, to make a bed, or to make, a chest. It's like, have a look around the home for like little things that you could maybe build. The likes of like a wooden coat hanger. I done one of those, I think it was last year. I done one of those, a little coat hanger, just a nice little easy thing. Maybe a nice little simple shelf as well. It's so simple to build little things like that. And, I think once you start doing little things like that, like, shelves, coat hangers and so on, and if you enjoy doing it, you are going to want to progress. It's just going to be a natural thing for you. If you enjoy it, it's going to be a natural thing for you to want to progress. You might go to a coffee table, and then you might go to a bed. I mean, there's nothing, for me personally, there's nothing greater than knowing that I've built something and it's practical. I love to build something, and it's, and it's got some practical use. I mean, even now, as I'm recording this, I'm sitting on my bed, or rather I'm lying on my bed, and I built the bed. I'm going to have this bed for a very long time, and I really like this bed. This same again. There's going back to like being able to kind of do what I want, to let myself run riot with the design. I mean, the design of the bed, it's actually all four corners of the bed rails are dovetails, connected by dovetails rather. So you've got the basic square, if you will, connected by dovetails. Those dovetails are rounded over, and then those dovetails actually fit inside of a lap joint that was cut onto two faces of each leg. So it actually, so you've got rounded dovetails that fit inside the two like a lap joint, if you will, so they're basically housed in, and obviously the corners are rounded off, so the rounded off dovetails match the radius of the corners of the legs that are done. And then the headrest is actually like a double mortise and tenon joint. Sorry, not a double mortise tenon joint, a haunched mortise and tenon joint. No glue in it. I just pegged those together. And I've had this bed like 3 years. And I know I'm going to have it many more years. And I think that's just it can't just be me, but it's just like it's like an achievement. If you not achievement's the wrong word. It's kind of like a great sense of pride, if you will. It might be achievement, pride. There might be a few words. I can't quite describe it, but accomplishments. But anything I do for myself, for my house, it's like I really, really love it. It was the same when I done this. I done a small little drawer that I referred to earlier on in this podcast. That goes inside of me. Inside of me chest there, that's got me t-shirts and me shorts in. It's like there was a great like feeling of like practicality and achievement and pride in it. It's like yeah, I really made something. The joints were really nice fits. I didn't glue any of the joints, which was pretty cool as well. And I was just so happy and felt so good about making this little drawer that me socks sit in. It sounds silly and it sounds trivial, but I often get feelings like that. Whether it's a small little coffee table I build, if it's something I'm building for myself, and it's kind of nice when people come into the house and it's like, I like your chair, or I like your coffee table. Where did you get that from? It's like, I made it. It's not bragging about it, but it's like you take great pride in it. At least I do anyway. So yeah. I mean, that's one of the things, and I would recommend anyone that's listening to this to actually build some furniture if you haven't already. I know there's probably quite a few of you that have built furniture. And if you're struggling for time, like I do a lot to build stuff for myself, I say just hold out, and it'll get so desperate that you've got to make the time. But yeah, it's, as I've just said, there's nothing better than kind of building your own furniture. So I'm a big believer in you should doing things like this. So going back to the email when I responded to the email, it's like I think it's a really like good advice to build things around the home, to develop skills. You've probably, if you listen to us on a regular basis, you've probably heard us, a number of times saying that I'm not a great believer in like making joints just to practice joints. So what I mean by that is like say we're going to cut a dovetail joint, so you get two pieces of wood, you'll do a dovetail joint, fit the joint, maybe glue it, and then basically cut the joint off, and I don't know, maybe put it on a shelf and leave it. I really don't see the point in that. I mean, each to their own, but I would rather say, well, why not cut that joint, and cut an extra 3 joints and put some ply on the bottom of it, and now you've got yourself a little box or a little kind of drawer, to put things in. Who cares? Who cares what it looks like? As long as it's practical, who cares? You might have it to put your wires. You might be like me and got like 101 devices, and you might have like USB wires all over the place, which actually isn't a bad idea, and I should possibly do myself a small little box. And the same again, even just mentioning this gives us the opportunity to try some different joints out. So, a different variation of dovetail joints, maybe some some angled finger joints, which they look pretty cool. So I might actually give that a go sometime. But something like that, it's a plus. It's just good all around. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, you know, it's going to help you to develop your skills. If you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, it kind of might be to hone them, and maybe if you're advanced, or kind of or whatever, it's just going to give you the opportunity to try out some new ideas. And as I said again, I'm repeating myself. I really I take great pride in kind of doing that sort of thing. It just feels like such an accomplishment to myself. So let us finish up with this again. I'm going to repeat myself again, but let us finish up with this. Make yourself something that you want or something that you need around the house. Enjoy doing it, and if it's practical and it works, who cares what it looks like? Yeah. So with that, I think I'm going to call it. I've rambled on enough today, as always. So again, thank you very much for listening. I know me podcasts have been a bit here, there, and everywhere. I am going to try and get a few more out. So any input of any ideas, anything that you'd like us to talk about, pop us an email at unpluggedwoodworking at gmail.com, or leave a comment on me Facebook or me Instagram, whichever. And until the next time, I shall speak to you guys later.